Hello everybody, it's Peter with an I, S-T-A-W-A-R-T. Welcome to segment 19 of,
I don't know, the Dark Tower, I guess?
I want to make a quick author's note. The story you're listening to now is part of a larger series. The age and situation of these characters is often ambiguous. For example, a situation in which all of them are sleeping in the same bed may potentially raise an eyebrow. If you weren't familiar with a particular flavor of fiction that goes into the series. When I talk about Charles and Chauncey wanting Joe to get them alcohol, it may suggest that they're trying to get around some age restriction imposed by the state. The age here is very specific. If you were familiar with the series, you'd know not to take anything too literally. The story is arranged in such a way to simply set up for the next joke. When it comes to liquor, I'm not a teetotaler. Liquor is just used as a literary tool here to demonstrate how people use each other. How Charles and Chauncey are using Joe, and how Joe wants to be used.
For Lenny, Stoner Lenny, and the long-haired kid who always had a sneer on his face. Lenny used to be in with Charles, Chauncey, and those sort of people, and when he was in, he seemed like a hero. During his time as a hero, he got all arrogant and acted like a real jerk to everyone except for good-looking girls. And of course, cool people who supported his popularity.
I know, right? Yeah, right.
Joe wasn't sure what happened, but for some reason, he was dropped. Maybe he mouthed off to the wrong person. After the bottom fell out of his stock, everyone shunned him. They had to be nice to him while he was cool, and they hated it. And everyone felt this sweet sugar of vengeance after he was ousted, and they felt at liberty to give him the cold shoulder. Anytime Joe sees him these days, he's always either moping around or trying to smile, or be nice to somebody in hopes of making a friend. But nothing could compare in value to the friendship of the elite. Well, I don't know, said Joe, debating to himself.
Joe knew what a big step it would be to drink hard alcohol. After all, even at communion he was only given grape juice. He wasn't ready for the super holy Irish Catholic sauce. The kind that Padres drink in Mass. Mass quantities, that is.
We're really counting on it for tonight, Joe. It would be so cool if you could bring some,
continued Chauncey. It wasn't necessarily because Joe was pure of body and spirit, so to speak, that he didn't want to get drunk. Duncan Reno did it all the time. Shit, he smoked a fatty. In fact, there was this one part in Diablo when Duncan Reno and Julie Lavino first met. They were so drunk, they didn't even know what they were doing and got naked together. Later on, they got to know each other, and it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to either of them. Which goes to show that only good things can happen when you get drunk and sleep around. Joe didn't want to get drunk because he wanted to stay sharp in order to say all the right things and target only the right people. He had a long way to go before he reached Bear's position, and tonight was too important to waste. I don't know. I'm allergic to alcohol. Well, not all the time, but most of the time I'm allergic to it. It gives me a terrible headache, and I start throwing up and stuff, explained Joe. Quite a number of people share Joe's affliction.
That's cool, dude. You don't have to drink any, but you see, we can't get it ourselves, but you can. If you could bring some for us, it would be really cool of you.
That option sounded really good to Joe. He could both stay sharp and get all the credit for getting everyone dizzy. He could imagine people coming up to him and saying, "Thanks, dude. You're the coolest. What's your name? Joe? Hey, Joe. Maybe I should introduce you to these people. The right people."
So we'll pick you up at 7 o'clock?
Said Chauncey, before Charles waved his hand and corrected him.
Make that 7:30. Okay, we'll see you then.
Charles and Chauncey were going to some girls' house before then, and planned to stay there until they took off for their sports rally. There were 3 girls at the house, and the boys would have invited Joe, but
Actually, they wouldn't have invited Joe. Joe was Chauncey's charity case, somebody he did stuff with simply because he was always available. And they didn't need him hanging around, talking to any of the girls, stealing their attention. It would be like a fat feeder fish starving out the shark. Their solution to the problem of competing with each other, the wedge that had initially driven a cleft in their friendship, was solved when the boys agreed beforehand which girl they wanted. If the girls didn't like their cast and wanted to be with the other guy, they could work something out. What a horrible joke it would be for a girl to be paired up with Joe. Her self-esteem would fly out the window. And as she voiced her frustration and tried to protest, Joe's self-esteem would be crushed, and he would snivel and whine. I have a really great personality, and I like art and calligraphy and the same kind of music you like. If you want, I can be political. Just tell me what to think. It would be kind of a sick and fascinating joke if a girl took Joe under her wing and then molded him. I'll really love you if you wear these beads. Here, I'll take them off my neck and put them on yours. And I want you to grow your hair out. Yeah, like mine, as long as mine. I would admire you so much if you did that. And I don't want you to walk like a guy, like bold. I want you to walk like this, kind of traipse. It would be very cruel, but pretty funny. Joe hurried up the stairs outside the house. He knew exactly how much time he had until Mr. Humphrey came home, which wasn't much. He skinnied in through the dog flap, which was actually the window. Mr. Humphrey didn't have a dog, nor did he have a flap. Joe pulled the can of pop out of his pocket, cracked it slowly, taking care not to let any soda spray out. He climbed up on the counter and pulled down the short, stubby, ceramic bottle of brandy from the uppermost shelf of the glass cabinet. He had seen the bottle before from afar, but never held it in his hands. It was the shape of a boot. He had heard before that women like it when guys drink champagne out of their shoes. They think it's romantic when guys get athlete's foot on the tongue, and to scratch the itch, they have to lick their face, neck, arms, and hands. If you've ever taken a course in microbiology, you'd think twice about licking somebody's hands or fingertips. You could get the rhinovirus, which drives people to go mad and charge! When he pulled it down and started to open it up, he found that the top of the decorative container of brandy was sealed with a strip of paper, which must have been put there by the liquor company to make sure none of the workers handling the bottles would decide to sample the product, to make sure it was good. Joe hesitated, caught in a moral dilemma. Should he do the right thing and try to figure out a way to copy the tab of paper so he wouldn't get caught and get in trouble? Or should he just break the seal? Shall he choose the right path or the wrong path? It wouldn't matter which course of action he should take if Mr. Humphrey caught him red-handed, holding the decorative ceramic boot like a smoking gun. Joe could claim that he was just looking for something to wear while he mowed the lawn, so he didn't mess up his good shoes. Well, I guess I can't wear this because my foot doesn't fit inside. I thought that once I undid the cap, the hole would be a lot bigger. I guess this ceramic isn't the elastic kind. Or Joe could dab it on his wrists and neck, pretending that he thought it was cologne. Cologne for people who really appreciate solitude, that is. Joe took a deep breath, hesitated, and cracked the seal. He did it quick, because sinning for a short time isn't as bad as taking your own sweet time and flagrantly sinning out in a public place and laughing about it while old ladies shake their fist at you, and then continuing to sin for a long, drawn-out time.